What a Catch, Part 96, a Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. If you have not heard the previous 95 parts of this story, you can find a link to them in the description box below. If you find the narration speed is either too fast or too slow for your liking, you can click on the settings wheel and adjust it. If you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest parts of your favorite fanfiction. It didn't need to be said that Nathaniel felt quite awkward in the predicament he found himself in. Dinner with his now missing business mate developed into one where he made small talk with his high school bully while sitting across from his first crush. It wasn't what he expected upon waking up this morning, but there were worse things in the world that could happen to him. At least there weren't any more akumatized victims like there were in high school, ready to pop in and ruin whatever evening plans he made. Not that he didn't miss those days. There was something exciting about the news trying to pinpoint secret identities, and working together with classmates to protect themselves had a level of adrenaline that Nathaniel hadn't found since. In the days of fanfiction and hashtag Lady Noir trending, he was still developing into a person. There were choices to be made about careers to go into, clubs to join, and people to have crushes on. They were the years filled with passion, hope, and success so close you could almost taste it. While he might have a job that relied on passion, Nathaniel hadn't felt some in a long time. Sure, his designs were good, but they came from tapping into emotions that he once felt, not the ones he had now. But now his first crush was sitting in front of him, and he was feeling again. She wasn't the only girl that caught his eye. But there's something about firsts that stirs the heart. And he had a date with her? Miraculous. That's what this was. Sure, he'd pretend to huff and puff about it, but the more time he had to think about it, the grander it seemed. Nathaniel might never date Marinette, but the least he could do for his teenage self is entertain the idea for a night or two. Unless he was pulled into some kind of sword fight, Nathaniel was more than happy to take his first crush to a modern-day ball. He might even fancy himself a prince for the evening, red hair and all. So, he cleared his throat, I'm picking you up. Of course you are, Chloe said, answering before Marinette had a chance to open her mouth. There was something off about his childhood bully tonight, but Nathaniel couldn't quite put his finger on it. What kind of man doesn't pick up his date? The kind that recognizes that the world and Western social standards are changing? Hashtag feminism. Nathaniel saw many types of glares from Chloe over the years, but the one she gave him in response was a bit different. He couldn't pinpoint how he felt or what she was trying to accomplish. She'd be cute if she stopped scowling so much. Not that he'd ever date her. It took all of his energy to not shiver at the thought. He ran his fingers over the bracelet on his left hand and tried to maintain a cool facade. There was something about the accessory that calmed him. It was a lucky charm of sorts. He'd found it the last night Paris saw the miraculous holders together, and it was his personal souvenir. The memory was a bit foggy, but so were most important moments in his life. He was close enough that night to see Ladybug drop Cat Noir off the Eiffel Tower all those years ago, but not close enough to overhear what Hawkmoth had to say to him hours later. He wasn't proud of it, but the fight scared him enough that he couldn't move until after midnight, leaving him in the position to eavesdrop and pray Paris's evil mastermind didn't notice him there. It's why it wasn't too big a surprise to him when Hawkmoth resurfaced a week or so ago. He'd known he was alive after that night. Why Cat spared the villain was beyond him, but he'd kept his mouth shut about it, and the years passed. The only nagging detail was that, in the moonlight of that night, Cat Noir's suit looked white. So, changing the subject, Nathaniel said. What did you think of the Cat Noir fight? Marinette choked on her food before Chloe raised her glass for a sip. I think, Chloe sneered, that the cat is as ridiculous as ever.
I agree. Nobody's sure what happened, but no one expected a bouncy house either.
It makes me wonder what his game plan was, Marinette added. Her voice was soft enough that Nathaniel had to lean in closer.
Pardon? He said.
Something tells me he had something much bigger in mind when he first set the ordeal up.
Like what?
Self-sacrifice. He furrowed his eyebrows in shock and confusion.
And what changed?
He found a reason worth living for.
Don't we all have one?
It's easy to have enough devotion to die for something, Marinette said. It takes a different kind of bravery to live for something. Nathaniel smiled at her words, thinking of heroes from his storybooks.
That sounds like something Ladybug would say.
She shifted before continuing. I'm just saying that, as messy and crazy as it wasn't his plan.
Of course not. Ladybug wasn't there. She didn't show up.
Marinette gave a small smile before the server swung by to take their plates and offer dessert.
Chloe scoffed at the idea.
The thought of ordering a rich, velvety chocolate cake to tease her crossed his mind, but Nathaniel decided against it. This dinner was long enough as is. There was no need to prolong it further.
So I'll catch you tomorrow?
He said, standing up. Yeah, see you then, Marinette said, smiling. He noticed that Chloe hadn't looked up.
Typical.
He realized he left his coat at the restaurant after making it to the station. By the time he made his way back, the table was bussed, and the employees had no idea where it was. Perhaps one of the girls took it. Marinette, most likely, as she was so thoughtful. He'd have to thank her tomorrow if that was the case. Thinking of tomorrow, should he bring her anything nice? He wasn't sure if he was ready to be in a committed relationship. Not that he had a chance with the Marinette Dupin Chang, but it was nice to think about. It was the least he could do for his teenager self. Although tomorrow would give him a lot more to think about, both romantic and life-altering. Nathaniel would learn more about the bracelet on his wrist, and make a choice about one of his older friends. But that part would come soon enough. Thank you so much for listening. Part 97 is on its way. In the meantime, you can check out these other videos for more fanfiction. I'll catch you next time.